if everything you believe about controlling your emotions is backwards? The Stoics discovered a truth so powerful that modern psychology still struggles to accept it. Picture this: a Roman emperor writing by candlelight in his military tent on the Germanic frontier. Outside, barbarian armies threaten the empire. Inside, Marcus Aurelius discovers a truth that will echo through millennia. He writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But here's what terrifies modern psychology. This wasn't positive thinking or emotional suppression. This was something far more radical. The Stoics understood that you don't control emotions by fighting them. You control them by understanding a fundamental truth about reality itself. While we chase external validation, success, and comfort, believing these will bring happiness, the Stoics realized the opposite. They discovered that true power comes from accepting what ancient philosophers called the dichotomy of control. This isn't about becoming emotionless, it's about becoming unbreakable. Tonight, we'll explore why this 2,000-year-old wisdom threatens everything modern society teaches about happiness, success, and emotional well-being. Prepare to question everything you think you know about control. The secret begins with Epictetus, a slave who became one of history's greatest teachers. Born into bondage, his leg broken and permanently damaged by his master, he discovered something extraordinary. In chains, he found more freedom than his captors ever knew. "No one can hurt you without your permission," he taught. But this wasn't naive optimism. Epictetus understood that while others could control his body, imprison him, even torture him, there remained one sanctuary they could never breach: his judgment about what happened to him. This is the first pillar of Stoic power, the recognition that between stimulus and response lies a space. In that space lies your freedom. Modern psychology calls this cognitive reframing, but the Stoics discovered it 2 millennia ago. They realized that events themselves are neutral: a promotion, a rejection, praise, criticism. None of these carry inherent meaning. The meaning comes from your interpretation. When you truly grasp this, something remarkable happens. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the author of your experience. The slave in chains becomes freer than the emperor who rages at every slight, every setback, every uncontrolled variable in his environment. Seneca, advisor to emperors and one of Rome's wealthiest men, understood the second pillar, the practice of negative visualization. While others accumulated possessions believing they would bring security, Seneca regularly imagined losing everything: his wealth, his status, his health, even his life. This wasn't morbid pessimism. It was psychological armor. What is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect, and unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster, he wrote. By mentally rehearsing loss, Seneca prepared himself for reality's inevitable changes. When Nero eventually ordered his suicide, Seneca faced death with the calm of someone who had practiced it 1,000 times in his mind. This practice reveals something profound about human psychology. We suffer more in imagination than reality. We create elaborate scenarios of future catastrophe, replaying past failures, allowing our minds to torture us with events that may never happen or have already passed. The Stoics realized that by deliberately visualizing loss, you rob it of its power to devastate you. You develop what modern psychology calls emotional resilience, but the Stoics understood as preferred indifference, the ability to maintain equanimity regardless of external circumstances. This isn't about becoming cold or uncaring. It's about loving fully while holding lightly. The third pillar emerges from Zeno of Citium, founder of Stoicism itself. Walking through the Athenian agora, Zeno taught that virtue is the only true good, not wealth, not fame, not pleasure, but character. This idea revolutionizes everything. In our culture, we measure success externally: bank accounts, social media followers, career achievements. The Stoics measured it internally: courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. Zeno's radical proposition was that these virtues are completely within your control. No one can make you act cowardly, unjustly, foolishly, or intemperately without your consent. External circumstances can pressure you, but they cannot force your hand. This means that regardless of your situation, rich or poor, healthy or sick, praised or criticized, you retain the power to act virtuously. And here's the revolutionary part. Acting virtuously, regardless of outcome, is what creates genuine happiness. Not the fleeting pleasure of getting what you want, but the deep satisfaction of being who you choose to be. Modern research confirms what the Stoics intuited. People who focus on character development and meaningful contribution experience greater life satisfaction than those who chase external rewards. The Stoics discovered that happiness isn't something you pursue, it's something you embody through virtuous action. Cato the Younger embodied the fourth pillar: absolute integrity regardless of consequences. When Julius Caesar offered him pardons, positions, and wealth, Cato refused. When the Roman Republic fell to corruption, he chose death over compromise. His final act wasn't suicide, it was the ultimate assertion of freedom. "I prefer to die rather than to ask for mercy," he declared. This isn't about dramatic gestures, it's about understanding that your principles are non-negotiable. In a world that teaches flexibility, adaptation, and compromise, the Stoics taught something radical. There are lines you never cross. This creates what philosophers call moral clarity. Knowing exactly who you are and what you stand for, regardless of external pressure. Modern psychology struggles with this concept because it challenges relativism. The Stoics believed in absolute moral standards, not because they were rigid, but because they understood that integrity is what makes you unbreakable. When you know your principles and live by them consistently, you become immune to manipulation, peer pressure, and the anxiety that comes from constantly adjusting your values to fit circumstances. You develop what Marcus Aurelius called the inner citadel, a fortress of character that no external force can breach. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about becoming someone you can respect. Cleanthes, who worked as a night shift boxer to pay for philosophy lessons during the day, discovered the fifth pillar, the discipline of action. While others debated theory, Cleanthes lived it. His famous hymn to Zeus reveals the Stoic secret. "Lead me, Zeus, and you, fate, wherever you have assigned me to go." This isn't passive resignation, it's active alignment with reality. The Stoics understood that life will unfold according to its own logic, regardless of your preferences. You can waste energy fighting this reality, or you can direct that energy toward responding excellently to whatever comes. This creates what modern psychology calls flow state, the experience of being fully engaged with present reality rather than fighting against it. Cleanthes worked brutal night shifts, then studied philosophy all day, then taught students in the evening. He didn't complain about his circumstances. He used them as training ground for virtue. Every challenge became an opportunity to practice courage, every setback a chance to demonstrate resilience, every success a moment to exercise gratitude and humility. This approach transforms suffering from meaningless pain into meaningful training. It turns obstacles into stepping stones and setbacks into comebacks. The Stoics didn't avoid difficulty. They used it as raw material for character development. This is why Stoic practitioners often seem unbreakable. They've learned to find opportunity in every circumstance. The final pillar brings us back to Marcus Aurelius and his ultimate realization. Memento mori. Remember, you must die. Not as morbid obsession, but as liberation. Death smiles at us all, but all a man can do is smile back, he wrote. The Stoics understood that accepting mortality doesn't diminish life. It intensifies it. When you truly grasp that your time is limited, that this moment will never come again, that everyone you love will eventually die, something extraordinary happens. Petty concerns dissolve. Ego battles seem ridiculous. What matters becomes crystal clear. Character, connection, contribution. The Stoics realized that death is not the opposite of life. It's what gives life meaning. Urgency without panic. Purpose without attachment. Love without possession. This is why Stoicism isn't just ancient philosophy, it's practical psychology for an uncertain world. In an age of infinite distractions, the Stoics offer focus. In an era of external validation, they provide internal strength. In a time of constant change, they deliver unchanging principles. The secret that terrifies modern psychology is simple. You already have everything you need to be unbreakable, not through acquiring more, but through understanding what you already control. Your thoughts, your choices, your character, your response to this moment. That's your empire. That's your freedom. That's your power. The marble mind isn't born. It's forged through daily practice of ancient wisdom. If this ancient wisdom resonated with your soul, subscribe to the Marble Mind for more forbidden philosophy that modern society doesn't want you to discover. Which Stoic pillar will you practice today? Share your commitment in the comments below.